button, so sooner or later it's going to say that this Hangout on there is live. And I had an important phone call, so I had to take the phone call because it was like in Europe. All right, so I'm back. This code kata that spans several, maybe weeks, and technically no, I probably averaged about 33 hours so far. But where I left off is I want to actually get to a point where I go from one page to another page in the mobile application. In the last video, I added an automated test over here. Tapping new card results in add bank card navigation. This tapping is not the right term for this test. Requesting new card results in add bank card navigation. That's probably better. Okay. Now, if I go back over here, where I left off was that I had this ViewModelFactory for BankCardViewModel. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to essentially say, like, I could comment this out, okay, and copy paste inheritance, and I want to say something like app logic over here dot ViewModelFactory dot and then BankCard's view model. Now that's going to take the mock dot dependencies for right now, okay, and that ViewModelFactory is going to handle everything else that's necessary. Honestly, I might be able to get away with doing something like this, like using and then static and then something like this over here. Okay. Now what, Willis? Well, now that I got that in there, come back. Now that I got that in there, then if we dig down into this again, this BankCard's view model, we see that in the event that our handlers is requested, let me start over. In the event that we want to iterate or we want to broadcast a message to our handlers, we registered this handler right here that takes some arbitrary argument, and with using the application, we assign the bank card page, the main page of this application, right? And then we update our handlers right here called updated handlers. All right, and so eventually I want to wire up this suite of, or I want to wire up an automated test, a logical automated test, not integration, but logical automated test for this over here. I'm not sure if this looks okay. That's in the works. That may be in another video, but everything should compile. I should be able to run this, and I'll throw a breakpoint right here. And again, if I look at the bank cards over here for the navigate account, page requests, add bank card, broadcast to handlers. This handlers should have that add bank card registered, or does it? Okay, so now what? This function right here, that's not good enough because this function will always execute no matter what. What we need to do is we need to filter to the actual message being broadcasted, meaning that we need to subscribe to a page request of add bank card, and we're not doing that right now. So in here we can say let handle equal, and then we can say that it's going to be a function in which we're going to pattern match on add, it should be add bank card or something like that. And well, that is the class over here. That is the page. So maybe what you want to do is you want to say page request, and then you say add bank card like that. Okay. So we can throw that import up here perhaps. And let me organize this a little bit like this, maybe. And so do something like that. And it says incomplete pattern matches on this. Well, this should be fine. So this add, okay, maybe I do have to say page request still. Page request dot add bank card. That's the only item in this type. This is single case discriminated union. So I'm surprised that I get a incomplete pattern matches of this expression. But then again, this handle is not really mapped to anything. So, but it's inferred right over here. So for example, oh yeah. So it might be something over here, and then it'll be okay. So now that there's no more squigglies, there's no warnings. That's what I'm after. Which reminds me that for app logic, Alt Enter is the shortcut. I want to go to build, and I want you to treat all warnings as errors. Okay, and save you. So next time that happens, I get a red squiggly. Okay. Now if we go back, we can say, now this will probably be a red squiggly because this will be impossible to occur. This rule will never be matched, and that is true for right now. But there's going to be other page requests that are going to be in here, right? So we could have add bank card of account, and then we can have a error, and that error is going to be of what? It's going to be of a error description of error description, okay? Which means that now if we go back, if I were to build this, which I'm going to do right now, well, the red squiggly already went away. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to actually navigate. Okay, so specifically, I want to go over here and say, I want to replace this unit right here with this over here. Okay, which means that I have no use for this handler over here. Okay, and I have a handle right here, and that should be okay. All right, so now I think I'm in the position, I got some compilation errors. Well, when I resolve that, I think I'm in the position to observe a navigation so that on an emulator, when I launch the application and I say add, or when I say new card, it should navigate to the add bank card page. Now, if we look over here, it doesn't like this. And because there's a page, this error can be mistaken for a page request error. And that's true, life would be easier if this just didn't have the same name. So you could say error occurred. I don't know how to spell occurred. Something like that, maybe. I'm not even sure if that's how you spell occurred. Does occurred have two C's in it? I don't know if occurred has two C's in it. So now I got to, am I even sharing my screen? Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. So now I got to figure out how to spell occur. Is it two C's in it? Two C's and two R's? No, it's two C's and one R. Okay. So two C's and one R. Error occurred of error description. Okay. So now that should resolve all the other errors. Because now this is unique. It doesn't conflict with the result type that has a case of error. And kumbaya, everything should just build. When everything builds, I should be able to run the application. When I run the application, I should be able to, yeah, everything builds. When I run the application, I should be able to tap new card. When I tap new card, I should probably put a breakpoint right over here. And yeah, okay, so I can display my emulator over here. And this is probably going to take a little while because I only have 16 gigs of RAM. I want my 64 gig RAM machine really bad. Yeah, I need to land another contract so I can not feel bad about spending $3,000 on the new machine. Okay, so here's the new card button right here. Okay, so when I hit the new card button, oh, hell's bells, the breakpoint was triggered and we have a page navigation. This says, welcome to Xmarin.Forms. And so if we go over here to scope to this and we go to add BankCard.XAML, we can change this to welcome to adding a new bank card, like that. Okay. Like that. And so then you can look over here. It says, welcome to adding a new bank card. Bendejo. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Or is it? Is that it? No, that's not it. This needs to be filled out, you know, the form for adding a new bank card, which needs to go through a process of being validated. And that may be another video. What I would really like to do, and this probably is going to be in another video too, is what I would really like to do is I want all this stuff to be testable, right? I want to be able to use a ViewModelFactory that is in my automated test suite. And right now, that's not being done. In addition to that, I'm curious if my ViewModelFactory should be the sole creator of a view model. And I'm not going to go there, right? But I definitely want this to be automatable. So what do you mean, Willis? Well, I'll tell you. So we have this ViewModelFactory, okay? And what I want to do is there is this account, and if I collapse everything, there's this app logic over here. Okay. Maybe in the account dot test for bank cards, this requesting new bank card or requesting new card results in add bank card navigation. I think what I want to do is, it doesn't look like this handler is being used over here. I think what I want to do is, I think I want to do something like, over here, I want to say like app logic dot, doesn't know what app logic is, but this is my test. So it's okay. Yeah, this is my test. So it should be able to reference app logic. Why does my phone ring all the time, man? I'm trying to grow myself. And this is New Jersey. New Jersey, I'm too busy to talk right now. Okay, so a reference app logic, and I want to say this app logic dot ViewModelFactory, and that is going to take dependencies last time I checked. Okay. And it says ViewModelFactory not defined. You are defined. Let me go ahead and try to build a solution. And yeah, that should just work. And this value constructor is not defined. ViewModelFactory. Oh, dot BankCardViewModel. Okay, and so maybe I wanted to import up here above core, say open app logic. Okay. And this language doesn't look like it's being used. Control dot. That shouldn't break anything. Now over here, I have this ViewModel.initialize. And the question is, should the ViewModelFactory also be responsible for initializing the ViewModel? I kind of want to say yeah. I kind of want to say that a ViewModelFactory should be responsible for initializing that ViewModel equal this over here, and then you can say ViewModel dot I'm missing E over here. ViewModel dot initialize like that, and then I'm stuck in C#, and then just say ViewModel like that. And so if you rely on the ViewModelFactory, it's ready to go. And then you just have something like that. Okay. Now what's wrong with this? Well, in the ViewModelFactory, it's also handling page requests. And so that's going to rely on the application.current.main page. And so in a test, this is going to throw an exception because this is Xmarin.Forms specific, and this requires an actual instance of an application. So how do we get around that? Well, we probably need an interface to an application instead. So what I mean by that is we probably should have in our test API, probably should be another file that should be introduced to our library, and this would be called, what is it going to be called? It would be called mock application, or it could be called application mock. I don't know, I'll use mock as a prefix, mock application, okay? So we have this mock application now, and this would be a what? Well, let me see, this test API, what were you? Namespace test API. Okay, so we can use the same namespace. And so we'll say namespace test API, then we'll have a type called mock application. And that's going to do something. Not sure what it's going to do though. Well, how's it being used in our ViewModelFactory? Well, it has this thing called a property called current. And that property called current is a application. Okay, so what's application? An application. All right, so this looks like a singleton or something. Okay, and then there's a main page, which is of type page. Okay, so you have essentially your application exposes a page property that we will call main page. Okay, so how does this work? It's going to be a member x dot main page with get equals, you can have what? You can have page, which needs to be defined. And then you can have over here and set, just going to take a value, and then you can say that page is going to be mutated by that value, something like that. Okay. So then over here, you can say let page equal, and then you're like IDK, right? And so what page really is page is a Xmarin.Forms page, okay? And so we probably need to import, we need our test API now to know, our test API probably needs to know what Xamarin.Forms is. Because a page is a page is a page. All right, so let's look at our XAML over here. And we have a content page. And if we look at that, it's a templated page. And look at that. Okay. So something tells me in addition to an application interface that we still need to create, we probably need to also create a page interface to have this thing testable. And this is where David Hannemeyer Hansen, or is that how you say it? David Hannemeyer Hansen? Yeah, I think that's the name of the person. He talks about this test-induced damage because now there's more effort that's going into making it testable than it is actually having a test. But we'll see how far the rabbit hole I'll go in doing that. So this will probably require a I page. okay? Which means that all my pages, look, I'm sorry, I'm recording a video, man. I can't answer every call no matter how many times you call me. Which means that every page that I have is probably going to have to implement an I page, okay? And so now what? Well, in this app logic, I'm not sure if it's in here that we introduce the notion of a I application and I page. I think we probably do. So over here we have I application, okay? And we'll probably add again an I page like that, okay? And now what? Well, so you have your I page and you have your I application. All right. So if we start off with I application, this is going to be namespace app logic. Okay. And this is going to be type I application. And it's an interface, so it doesn't have parentheses. And over here, I think you say something like abstract. Oh, crap. Go back. Down here, I think you have like abstract member. And you say abstract member. I forget. I don't remember the exact syntax. But I think it's like abstract member. And this is what? Main page. And then I think that's going to be of I page like that. And so I page is something that I haven't defined yet. So over here for the I page file, you have namespace app logic, okay? And then you can have type, oh shoot, why you keep doing that? Then over here you can have type, and this is I page, and then you can say that I page is what? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't really care about what properties it exposes. I just wanted to just be a wrapper behind, some type of implementation. So I can say abstract member, and I can say that this is going to be, I don't know, toString, which a page will already have. Say foo, whatever. Okay. And so then that foo is going to be nothing but a property that's of type unit. Okay. I don't care what it is. All right. Well, now what? Well, okay. You have namespace app logic. And then, all right. So now all that stuff builds now. So what else now? All right. Well, this I page says it's not defined. And that's in my test API. Okay. Well, if I do control dot, and it doesn't know anything. Of course not. No, does my test API, I thought I added app logic to it. No, I didn't. So app logic is, Test API cannot add a reference to app logic because that will more than likely result in a circular dependency, which means that the app logic already has a dependency on test API. Okay. If app logic already has a dependency on the test API, then this I page and I application needs to be pulled to test API. And we can just delete you over here. Okay. So now what? Well, we'll go to our mock application. And well, we need to update the namespaces. So now this is test API. And the I page is also namespace test API. Okay. Now what? Oh, there's still a red squiggly. Okay. I page needs to go before app logic. Okay. Now what? Well, there's a red squiggly on I application. Is there? Because I don't see anything wrong with that right now, but there's a red squiggly in the file and it just went away. It just got resolved on the back end of Visual Studio. All right, so now this mock application over here, I page is now referenced. Okay. Doesn't like this null part. The type I page does not have null as a proper value. Okay. So I need to have something called mock page. So I'll have something like this, mock page. Uh-oh, come here. Mock page. Okay. And mock page is not in here yet. So let's add I'm just throwing this right up here. Type mock page. Okay. And that's going to be a concrete implementation, aka class. And that mock page is going to do what? It needs to inherit what? It needs to inherit I page. Okay. With what? It needs to inherit I page with, and I think we said member x.foo equals, and I think I just did something like that. All right, but it doesn't like that. And so it says that the inherit declaration specifies the inherited type with no arguments. Okay. It's argument. Now what? Member foo. This is a unit and it's going to return a unit. All right, how about that? Okay, this would take a unit and would return a unit. Okay, it says can I inherit from interface, use interface instead. Oh, okay. Oh, because it is interface. Okay. So now I have that in here. I actually like this spacing. And so now mock page, that should be fine. And I probably need to do something like, come back, I page, like that. And so that resolves, okay. Now there's this main page in here of the application, and main page, this needs to be mutable. Let mutable. Okay, and that should go away. Okay, now what? Control Shift B. Let's make sure that everything builds. And if we're able to get everything to build, what I want to do is I want to revisit my bank cards test over here. And I think everything should build. And now what I'm missing is, remember, this bank cards, this is still relying on a hard-coded application instance of Xamarin.Forms. What I need to do is I need to pass in within its dependencies an application. So I could say something like application, which will be a new property. And this would be what? This would be a I application over here. Okay. That, I'm going to do control dot. Doesn't know what's going on. This should be recognized. Our application is in test API. So should be saying open, yeah, open test API. Okay. And that's not what I want to do. Not on my view models. My view models shouldn't know anything about test API. But this I application is defined in the test API. Okay. So now what? Where else can I put this? Well, unfortunately, it looks as if in this test API, this iPage and iApplication can be migrated to core. Okay. So in core, paste that. And okay. So now that's in core. Now what? Well, now that that's in core, I probably should update this to namespace get ride core. And the same thing for the iPage is namespace get ride.core. Okay. And should I leave it at get ride.core or should I leave it at get ride.core.ui? And I think it should be different. So core.ui. Okay. UI or UI logic? Oh, UI logic. Okay. Being a stickler now. Okay. So we go over here and we say UI logic. Okay. So everything should still resolve. This page needs to go before application, I think. And this stuff should just be defined. So we'll just take that and we'll go over here and we'll just paste it. I don't think there should be a difference. That page should get picked up. Control Shift B. And this page is not being picked up. Now it is. Okay. So this I application over here, this will be dependent on core dot. There should be a UI logic. Because that's what I named it up here. And that I application is defined in that. However, I have a red squiggly in here. So next, we need to make sure that our core can compile by itself. And core does not compile by itself. So go up here, and it says that a namespace and a module named getRide.core both occur in two parts of assembly. Okay. So what was common called? Common was module getride.core. So maybe this is going to break everything. This is going to break everything. I can't call this core. This is going to be getride.UI logic. And the page is getride.UI logic. Okay. And that's interesting because that sounds really familiar because we have a UI logic library right here, which means that perhaps this iPage and iApplication can be cut and pasted to this UI logic over here. Okay. And now we just call this UI logic there, and we'll call the iApplication, remove the getride, and call UI logic right there. Okay. Now let's see if we can build the UI logic independently. That should build, and that builds. Okay. Now what? Well, now if we go back to our bank cards test, or if we go back to our, I think it's app logic in our dependencies, then we need to, within our account.viewModels, we already have a reference to our UI logic, which means that this iApplication, well, let me just build everything. That should be recognized now because of our reference in here of UI logic. So iApplication UI logic and iPage UI logic. So that stuff should be recognized now. Now, do I have any errors yet? No, yeah, I got some errors. So now what? Account.viewModels, I swear I have a UI logic already selected. Okay. And so what is the problem? If I do UI logic dot is delegate command and command base, it has no clue about iPage and iMember. So if you look at command base, namespace UI logic, like that's what it is. Okay, so iApplication, namespace UI logic, it's the same thing. iPage, namespace UI logic, it's the same thing. Okay, so all that stuff is the same. It says over here that it's not defined, but it is defined. So let's go in our solution and let's clean everything. And then let's rebuild. Everything's cleaned. Let's rebuild. Because this should now be recognized. If it's not recognized, then I need to delete the .vs folder in my solution directory. And so what are these errors? What are these errors? Let me look at the output window. And it has iPage is not defined in the mock. Okay, so the test API can reference the UI logic over here. And so then I can say, if it lets me, I could say open, say open UI logic, like that. All that stuff should be recognized now. And it's not being recognized. Why aren't you being recognized? So projects, UI logic is having some warning on it. This is .NET Standard Library 2.0.3. Okay, and Test API is 2.0. Okay, I'm not sure what's the issue. Nobody likes my UI logic library. Not sure why. So I'm not sure why. I just added the library and everything's complaining. If I try to rebuild the test API, what I don't want to do is I don't feel like creating a new UI logic library. Like I don't want to do that. And let me see. It's .NET Standard 2.0, right? And so then if I look at my UI library or UI logic, that's .NET Standard 2.0. Like, I don't get it. I'm not sure what else I can do right now to successfully troubleshoot this without creating a new project and adding all the new files to it. The notice time it field for application. And this is application equals, and then you could say mock application like that. No, that's still not solving my UI logic reference over here. I don't know if it's as easy as me just terminating everything and then reloading Visual Studio. I hope that's all I need to do. And so I'm going to close all this and I'm going to exit out Visual Studio. I'm going to close you too. I don't need you anymore, emulator. I'm going to reopen Visual Studio. And all this is an attempt to get rid of the error that complains that it's not able to see or that there's some type of corruption when it comes to the dependency of the UI logic library. Okay, so let's clean everything. Then once everything gets cleaned, let's rebuild everything. You know what? Hold up. No, kill that again. Hold up. Let's come here. Over here, open the directory. Let's kill all this. Let's delete this .vs. Okay. Let's back up. I could delete you too. I don't need you. Okay. Now let's go back to this get right solution. It's already cleaned out. I'm just going to rebuild it. All right. And so now I'm going to do a rebuild solution. And I hope that those original errors that were baseless go away. That's what I hope. If it does, I'll be happy and upset at the same time. It kind of looks good right now because I don't, well, that's package manager being set. I need an output or Xamarin or build. Hold up, select build up here. And the thread is frozen, or the UI is frozen. So I can't select the build item within the package manager. Okay, so this is 8 errors. Again, I'm trying to select build. It says 6 failed. All right, so why are you failing? What's the issue? What's the problem? It says mock application is not compatible with UI logic.I application. Okay, well that looks better. Why not? Do I need to surround you in parentheses like this? Like, what's the problem? This application is UI logic.I application. This mock application is supposed to interface. You say interface with I application. Okay. And what that means is, I don't know what I application is supposed to do. If we go to a page over here, then our I application is supposed to have this abstract member made page, which is an I page. I think that's going to be an issue because, yeah, I think this is going to be an issue. This, if I go to the app, if I go to an actual page, then we'll see that it's a content page. I think I have to do this. Okay. I don't think I can say I page. Well, yeah, I can. All right, let me think about this for a minute. This mock application says it's not compatible with I application, and that's because of me not implementing whatever interface that I application has. And so there's a main page, right? And so I should be able to do something like this, something like that. No, this is going to say that no abstract property was found that corresponds to the override. No abstract property was found that corresponds to the override. So you look at that abstract member page, or abstract member main page is of type I page. And so this, I'm not sure how to do that. Okay, so let me go over here and let me say F sharp in interface, and then you just have property. Like, how do you interface? How do you implement a property? So over here, they say that you have a member val and then something prop, and then you have with get set. Okay, with get set. Okay. But they said val. And so they say this right here. And I go, shoot. So this main page, over here, they say, oh, you have to have equal what? You can say mock page like that. And then you say with get set. Now it says that no abstract property was found that corresponds to this override. So iApplication has a main page, abstract member. All right, so let's go back up here. And let me look at what they have. They say member my prop, boom, 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 my method. So for a property, they have bool with get set. So over here, main page, I could say iPage and then say with get set. Okay. Okay. Control Shift B. And remember, I care about this my prop property in the example. And they have down here equals true. Okay, over there. And then they have this, they have let mutable prop equal true. Okay. And then they have this over here, which is what I kind of had. Okay. So now what? Well, this main page is still not recognized. And so I remember about if I go down here, interface member X dot. Okay. So we can say member X dot main page equals, or main page with get. So over here you have with get set. And over here, this is going to complain about let and do bindings must come before something. Okay. Not sure if you're saying that I need to do this up here. And so let me follow the complete thing. And so they have with get equals, and then you have value. And then there should probably be a an set, which is going to this is going to be page. And then set is going to be a v equals, and then you have page v like that. Okay. Is everything happy now? Huh? Now what? I want to see a list of errors. What other errors do you have for me? No errors yet. And it's still building, which looks like it's going to build. And again, the whole point of this is I want to complete my test, rely on, provide a dependency on my test for app logic for a ViewModelFactory that I recently implemented. And that's going to rely on a mock application and a mock page. And that'll get closer to more moving parts within this application when it comes to code coverage actually being covered. I could say that differently. So everything succeeds now. So if I go, let me, this is called, oh, no, I don't have to do that. Let me go back to my account, scope to this, and specification and tests over here for bank cards. Now what? I can say this over here. For the dependencies, for mock dependencies, I have a mock application here. Okay, now what? Well, one can surmise that my dependencies right here, one could surmise that I should be able to do something like this, like let app equal dependencies dot application. Okay, and then I should be able to say app dot main page equal, and then this needs to be a I page, right? So this add bank card page over here, I should just be able to say I page. So that's not going to know what I'm talking about until I add a reference to UI logic. Okay. Now in C#, I can have an interface that's completely blank, but in F#, I feel like it forces me to provide something, and I'm not sure if that's ideal. Like, what if I just don't want to have anything in here? Like, what if I just want to have this? It doesn't like that. Now, what if I just want to have something like this, like that? What if I want to do something, and I can't say do, right? Because that would mean that it's kind of like a instance. So what I could say is that there's a toString. Of course, I would return string like that. And if I did that, that's probably going to cause issues with everything else. But in .NET, every class has a toString method or implements a toString method. So then this .toString is going to be empty string. Okay. And over here, Control-Shift-B. And if I go back to my factory over here, then it should be app.mainPage equals account.ui add bank card. So I have a green build here. There's no failures. Okay. And so what I should be able to do is I should be able to go to my test, and I should be able to I don't know if I want to be cool and pipe my dependencies in here like that. And when I try to run this test of requesting new card results in add bank card navigation, I want that to still pass. If it still passes, then we have a handle, then we have handle message, and it says that could not load file or assembly Xamarin.Forms. That's in my test. Hold up. That's in my count.test. This doesn't look right. Where's this at? This is in my common part. And so this wants to, okay, I see the issue here. I want to go back to my factory and I want to inject the page, BankCardViewModel. I want to inject the page. How does this work? This is only asking for the view model. So what am I doing right here? This handle right here is because sooner or later I want to inject a navigation that the view model is going to call. Okay. Something tells me that, hold up, let me get rid of that. Okay, something tells me that I probably shouldn't have page anywhere as a dependency in my view model. And that's probably accurate. But this handle right here, updated handlers, is based on a dependency that the view model is going to need for broadcasting a page request. Okay. Well, so what? Okay. I could say that this add bank card could take the page as the argument. So or I could just add page up here. So let's assume that I wanted to provide an interface for the page. Page, iPage. Okay. Open UI logic. All right, and we'll probably move you over here. Now what? Well, if I'm just dealing with the interface, then I should just be able to do this and everything should be fine. Now, if I try to build that, it's going to give me a compilation error for who's ever referencing this factory. Shift F12 over here says that, well, if you're going to do that, then you need to say count.ui dot add bank card. That's the page. I have to say new. Okay. And in my test, I need to have in my factory the dependencies in the page. So I need to have over here dependencies, and I need to have a mock page that, yeah, okay. So now if I try to run this, I don't think I should have any compilation errors. and I get a green right here. And if I try to run all the tests, then if it's green, then I'm in business. Now I can have my automated test suite impersonate an application, impersonate a page, and I can take advantage of my application logic when it comes to navigation and persistence and all the other stuff. I can test the logic that's used without any type of UI dependencies. And that's what I'm aiming for. Okay, so now all that is green and I'm in business. Pendejo. Okay, so let's check that in. And we'll say that added test support for iApplication and iPage. Okay. And yeah, commit all and push. Okay. Now that's it for this video. That was enough. No, it's not. All right. Uh-oh. I lost my startup project. It should be this Android over here. Let's just make sure that the navigation still works for when I'm on the bank cards page of the application. When I request a new card, I navigate to the new card page. Yeah, and that should still work. So this may take a little while. And come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Come on. I need a workout. I think I'm going to try to run today too, even though I ran yesterday. Hit my shoulders. Oh. Prepare myself for next spring, Memorial Weekend. I'll be sitting prison big. And all right, so let's go. All right, so now we have a page. Okay. And let's just say that we want to remove the Visa part. Okay. Let's say we want to do a new card. And that's not good. That's not good. The new card didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. Okay. Says the application may be doing too much work on this thread. Okay, I don't care. It's not doing anything. So why isn't it doing anything? Do I have it in me to troubleshoot this? That could be simplified right there. All right, so let's go to our bank cards. Bank cards, and this is view model, right? And so navigate is right here. And so we should hit navigate, page request, add bank card. Okay, there's a handle right here. Okay. Now we have this page, which is a add bank card. Okay, that's what we want. That's what we want. That's what we want. That is it. That's the page. We add it to this main page. Yeah, what's the problem? Hit F5. Unless I'm missing something. Like, I'll put a breakpoint right here. Yeah, that's because our application is an I application, and that's fine. But I have a feeling that it's not being mapped. Okay. I think I understand. All right. So now we have to go back to our app.xaml.cs, and we have to say that our app is because I don't think application has its own iApplication. It's an iApplication controller. And that is said, yeah, I don't know what all that is. Okay. So we can set this over here to iApplication. And that's using UI logic. Okay. And the app does not implement interface member main page. It does. It does implement main page, but okay. So, I mean, I could do it again. So for I don't know what that get is. Let's bring this on another line. We have this get. We have this set. Okay. And you just want to say that you just want to call this dot main page, or you could say base dot main page. Can I say that? Or you have to assign the set to something. Um, I don't know. You could say base dot main page equals value. Okay, and it's not going to like the value part. Can I implicitly convert iPage to? Okay, so this is Xamarin.Forms page. I don't know how to do that. Are you missing a cast? Something tells me I'm doing this wrong here. So this is the error says that you have a UI logic I page, and you have a Xamarin.Forms page. So I want to do like the Xamarin.Forms page, and page does not contain a definition for main page. Oh, what do you call it? Yeah, something like that. And it's saying, well, it doesn't know what I'm talking about right now. And so I could say that this dot page, this dot main page, which is going to be, can I say as Xamarin.Forms page equals that. And that's not going to let me do that either. This is application.main page. That's what I want. Yeah, how am I supposed to do this? The left-hand side of an assignment must be a variable, property, or indexer. Okay, so main page. Let's put this Xamarin.Forms page. I want to do this right here. Value as what? As a Xamarin.Forms page. Okay. that's for this application. Okay. That get is, you just return this dot main page, and that should be it. Of course, you don't like that. It says you can't convert that to an I page. Okay. Can't convert Xmarin.Forms I page to I page. Yeah, something tells me that there's a better way of doing this. This is I page right here. And okay, fine. As I page. Okay. Which means that every page that I create needs to implement I page. Let's try to do this again. Oh, no. It's not ready yet. So in addition to that, our mock.dependencies, we need to say var dependencies equals, and then you say mock.dependencies, okay? But then you can say dependencies dot and application equals, and then this can be this, okay? And says that application is read only. Well, how do I create a copy of this application? And I don't see that, how that can be done. Okay. So now what? All I want is, I can in the F# code set the application of the dependencies, right? So what I mean is, I can do something like, how would I do this? I can either put in the dependencies, or I can put this. There's different ways to do this. I can. Let's just get this thing to work, and then I can refactor this where the dependencies is going to take the page and the application. Or I could just put an application in here, just like I do the page. So I could do something like this right here. This. Okay. So the barcode, the app logic, which is right here, based on what I have, is going to take dependencies, the application, and the page. Dependencies to be the application, and then the page. Okay. So then I can say, for this dependencies application, I'm just going to get rid of this right now. And I can get rid of that. Okay. And so that should be okay. I'll get some errors probably on my test as well. Well, yeah. Okay. So over here, get rid of this. I don't care about this anymore. Okay. Where's my other errors at? This mock page over here. this is now going to have a mock application. Okay, add 3 bars to that, and that should be straight. And oh yeah, we got to put this over here. And this over here should dependencies application. Well, application comes before the mock page, not after. Something like that. Okay. Run all these tests. The solution builds, test passes, run the application. Whole point of this is to be able to navigate while having the automated test infrastructure in place. Application is preparing to render. Applications rendered. Hit new card. Page request is activated. Broadcast to handlers. App.main page. Why does it say null over here? Should equal this right over here. And we have welcome to adding a new bank card. And that's it. All right. In the next video, I will more than likely rethink if I want to have I will rethink if I want to push the application and the bank card, push that inside the dependency type or structure versus injecting it as a second and third argument for this bank card's view model. At first glance, I think it should be in this dependencies type. Reason why I wasn't in here initially is because this is immutable, this dependency value. I could create a function that will update this dependency area. So what I mean by that is I can go and let's see, there's a mock dependencies right here. Okay. And that dependency is defined on top of my view model. Okay. And so one would ask why I can't have my dependencies in my specification, because that would probably make sense. So down here, I could just throw down just arbitrarily dependencies like that. Control dot, control dot, and it doesn't know what this is. And that's in the operations. So for operations, I can provide my dependencies maybe right here. Okay. Something like that. And something like that. Okay. So if I have my dependencies there, then I should be able to say, if I go in my view model, where do I want to do this at? If I go to my bank cards, well, all this stuff should be okay now. So if I build, what I probably can do, I need to have a function somewhere in one of these modules where I say update dependencies and I pass it in the application and the page, and it returns me an updated dependency that has the application and page that I passed in. Um, so now this over here needs to reference, let's see what this says. It says that reference to type dependencies is claimed by account.viewModels, but it cannot be found. Claims it is defined in, but cannot be found. Well, you're defined in the operations right now. So account dot specification is where it's at. And do I actually need to say that in here? Let's look at the output window over here and go up here. And it says over here, that's what it's complaining about. Something like that. Okay. And if I attempt to build again, what other errors am I going to get? Now, for this ViewModelFactory, like I already have this in here. And that should, this dependency is right here. See, for this BankCards.viewModel, which I am doing in my app XAML right here. Actually, this might be okay. So then I could say, within my dependencies, I can probably do something like this, where I can have re-add my application. Okay, and that's of iApplication. And that's not being found yet. And then have a page. Okay, and that's going to be of page, iPage, like this. Okay. And all this is related to the UI logic right here. And so I can say open UI logic like that. Okay. And in my factory, I can then say, in regards to my dependencies, which is in here, I could then say dependencies with handlers is updated handlers. Okay, so I could say let updated dependencies equal, okay? And I meant to hit that right there. And we already see that handlers is going to be updated handlers, right? And then we can say, well, how are we going to do this? I would say it's going to be dependencies. Come back. It'll be dependencies. Why is this not dependencies? Not sure why it's not pulling it up from here, but we'll say with, and then you say handlers equals that right there. And then you can say application equals app, okay? And then you can say that the page equals, and it's page, okay? And so let's follow conventions like that. And so now I have updated dependencies here like that. And that's how to resolve that. Something like this over here. Okay. So now I can run all my tests. And that means that, okay, I should get a failure somewhere. That means that in here, I should get a failure somewhere, right? What's this up here? Now I have application. Okay, this doesn't know what application is, equals. And then I could say mock application like that. And then page equals, and then I could say mock page like that. Okay. And then I can attempt to build again. Okay. Now I should still get some errors. Specifically, if I go back to my, if I go back to my bank cards up here, that takes dependencies. And let me see, warning, warning, warning. Still building. I want my 64 gigs of RAM. I want my new dev machine. It's been about 2-3 years. And for me, having to wait 20 seconds with 64 gigs of RAM, it probably shouldn't take more than 5 seconds. Running all my tests to make sure everything still passes. Everything still passes. Running the application. And start debugging Android application. Sooner or later, it should start rendering the application. The rendering process has started for the application. When it gets rendered, which should be any time now, I should hit the new card and I should observe a navigation. The navigate request is triggered. A page request.add bank card is inputted to the broadcasted handlers, right? I hit run over here, and a subscriber for add bank card is triggered, and that's it. All right, I'm done. So I now have app logic wired up in my test regression suite, and that takes advantage or incorporates the test infrastructure for app logic. So that is in my ViewModelFactory, right? So if I do Shift F12, there should be a test over here. Yep, requesting new card results in add bank card navigation. So that's what we're relying on over here. We take our dependencies as we know it. And actually, we don't even need that anymore because we already do that. So we can get rid of this. Okay. And yeah, that's it. And our mock dependencies, we already took care of that, right? If I go down here, we have mock application, mock page. And so now this over here, that's not needed, right? Okay, and this should be, oh, it is needed though. It's needed because in our case, we actually want to run the application. We're passing in the application up here. But that's okay though. It shouldn't be needed because you should just be able to say dependencies dot application dot main page. It says main page is not defined. Why aren't you defined? I thought dependencies dot application stuffed up. iApplication, and then there's a main page in there. There's two main pages in there. Hold up. No, there's one. So here you could say let app equals, and then you say dependencies dot application like that. And it should be just app dot main page like that. And it says that the constructor or member main page is not defined. Well, I don't know why. Oh shoot, hold up. This app. Application that says that that can't be defined. And also that say that let page let page equals, and you have dependencies dot page. That'll be here, right? So now that should work out. Now it just doesn't know what this main page is. The field constructor remember main page is not defined. Well, how is it not defined? Oh, because you have to say app, which over here, this is iApplication, right? So why are you app I application equals, and then maybe I have to do something like this, I application, right? Is that what I need to do? And this is the type constraint mismatch, the type object is not compatible with, well, I don't understand why you're saying you're an object. You're defined as I application right here. Unless my ViewModelFactory has no reference to UI logic, which I think you do. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, okay. So if I add a reference right there, that should be some type of process of elimination. Shift B. Now, this dependencies.application is still claiming to be object, which I'm not sure why. It's iApplication. So I'm not sure why you're not updating. I don't know why you're saying you're an object when you're of type I application. So far, I'm building, and all this stuff is warnings right now, and it's taking a little bit of time, which kind of gives me some. No, it doesn't. BankCard 63 over here, and this is, yeah, this is becoming more effort right now. What I want to do is, all right, leave that in there. It's more a pain than what it's worth right now. That right there. Okay. Over here. That should be resolved. We'll just be done with it. Uh-oh. So add bank card is not defined. And that's because we'll return what we had up here. Shift B. And I'm just going to check this in because I'm done now. Added test and navigation support for bank cards. Commit on push. All right, I'm out. I'm tired. Peace.